Welcome to the latest video from Ribble Rides. It's a trip from King's Cross in north central London down to Regent's Park along Regent's Canal. King's Cross is one of the busiest stations in the UK, serving East England and Scotland from its 11 regular platform and Hogwarts from platform 9 3/4. In the last millennium, when I was a child, King's Cross used to be a rundown part of London that you went through as quickly as possible on your way to wherever you were going. In the last couple of decades, King's Cross has gentrified. The area was originally known as Battle Bridge, as it's believed to be the location of the final battle between the Celtic British Iceni tribe led by Boudicca and the Romans. Boudicca is believed to be buried under one of the platforms. I'm going for platform 9 3/4. Regent's Canal is 13.8 km, 8.6 miles long with 12 locks, flowing from Paddington to Thames at Limehouse. It can handle wide beam boats, which are twice as wide as narrow boats, but with similar length restrictions due to the length of the locks. In the Victorian era, the whole family would live on narrow boats, and children would be taught important tasks such as rope tying and allowed to walk the horses from a young age. They were constantly travelling and would therefore attend school when it was possible and at different schools along their routes. This gave the parents a break from having the children on the boat and gave the children a well-needed education. The boaters, who rarely left the towpath, had a bad reputation and were seen as drinkers, criminals, scruffy and violent people. This reputation had some basis in truth, but was made stronger by the lack of interaction. The boaters were paid once their goods were delivered, therefore it was important to deliver as much as possible as quickly as possible. This meant working up to 17 hours a day and limiting living space to a length of only 3 to 4 metres yards. Up until the 1950s, horses were used to pull the boats along the canals. They were therefore a very important part of canal boat life. Granary Square and the surrounding area are former warehouses that store goods brought by Canal or were to be distributed by Canal. The area is now shops and restaurants. Gasholder Park is the largest of 3 structures that used to store town gas on the opposite bank of the canal. This was converted into a park and the other 2 are office blocks, although I'm not sure I like the curved walls in my office. The gas holders were no longer needed when natural gas pipelines were built, as the fuel could be stored in the pipelines. The majority of canal boats are for leisure, however people live permanently on them in London, with these being either moored in one location or more often regularly moved so that mooring fees don't apply, plus it's hard to get a permanent mooring spot licence in the capital. This is partly a lifestyle choice and partly because rents in London are far too high. The cost of living on a canal boat isn't as cheap as it looks. In addition to the mortgage to buy the boat and food to live, other major costs include a boat licence at £60, $80 per month, maintenance, which is far higher than for a house, even though the boater often has to do their repairs themselves, plus fuel for transport, heating and cooking. Sometimes that fuel is coal. The boater community for those who permanently live on board has changed over the centuries, but it's still a strong community that's partly woven together by the realisation that they will need each other's help in difficult times. Camden Lock was the location of one of London's first crafts and antiques markets, originally opening in 1974 in the former T.E. Dingwall Builders Yard. It has combined with Camden Stalls Market to become simply Camden Market, which has over 1,000 stalls, bars and restaurants where you can buy vintage fashion, handmade jewellery, vinyl records and unusual gifts. There's even a micro distillery and live music, including a Dingwall's Jazz Club. The market is open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and occasionally has extended hours. Camden High Street has an alternative feel to it with souvenir outlets, tattoo parlours, jewellery and vintage goods. However, the highlight is definitely the street art. Primrose Hill was made royal hunting grounds under King Henry VIII. It has been a place where duels were fought and prize fights took place. Mother Shipton, a soothsayer from the 1500s, made threatening prophecies about what would happen if the city sprawl was allowed to encroach on the hill's boundaries. Primrose Hill was purchased from Eton College in 1841 to extend the parkland available to the poor people of North London for their open-air recreation. It's now one of 6 protected viewpoints in London.
A man opened his window and stared up Primrose Hill. Out there enjoying themselves, I've seen them from this cell. Green splashed with white and red going brown. Children baiting animals running up and down.
Regent's Park is one of London's 8 royal parks. The park is named after the Playboy Prince Regent who later became King George IV. The park includes Primrose Hill. It covers 197 hectares, 487 acres in the heart of London. Regent's Park was originally part of the Forest in Middlesex. King Henry VIII acquired it during the dissolution of the monasteries 1536 to 1540 and used it as hunting grounds. After the Civil War in 1646 it became state land and was sold off in parcels so that wage arrears could be paid to the new model army, which we will learn about next week. Over 16,000 trees were felled during this period. In 1660, when the crown was restored, King Charles II executed the main landowner and sold off more land. Over the next 100 years, the land was mainly used for dairy farming and haymaking. In 1810, the government developed a new plan for the park. It was intended for exclusive development for the wealthy and good, with a palatial summer residence for the prince, with 50 dedicated villas, most of which were never built. Queen Mary's Gardens were developed in the 1930s and are named after King George V's wife. Thanks for watching this video all the way to the end. If you like the video, please give a thumbs up and ensure you don't miss a future one. Click the like and subscribe. As mentioned earlier, next week we're off to Ely to learn about Cromwell. Have a great week.